everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel. And today I am super excited because I have a mystery box of books here. Now I have done this once before and it didn't go very well at all. I wasn't really interested in reading any of the books that I got from this specific company, and no hate to this company at all. It just didn't quite work out for me. And so I thought,
I probably should not get a mystery box again.
But then my curiosity got the best of me and I decided to just do some Googling around, and I found that this huge bookstore by me, a bookstore that I actually recently vlogged going to it, it's called the Book Loft and it is here in Columbus, Ohio. I saw that they actually have mystery boxes for books. And so even though this is pretty local to me, if this goes well, this is something that you can try out for yourself as well. This wasn't uber cheap, I will say. It was $80 and then, a couple bucks in tax. And then I think it was $6 in shipping. So I would say I paid right around like $88 to $90 for this box. And I actually have no idea how many books are going to be in here. I'm hoping 8 to 10 minimum. The box isn't super big, so I'm definitely assuming no more than 10. And I'm guessing that I could find a lot of the books that they'll send me cheaper other places, but I just thought that this would be a lot of fun, and hopefully it just goes really well. Now, the great thing about this mystery box is that they asked what my preferred genres were, and I said historical fiction and thrillers. And there was also like a comment section and I could write anything in there. So I just left a link to my Goodreads account. I don't know if they looked at it, but I just said, if you wouldn't mind double checking just to make sure that I'm not getting books that I already have, that I already read. So hopefully I don't get any duplicates. That would definitely be a big bummer. But all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and crack into this box. Okay, so this is my first impression of the box. The books are just kind of put in there, so that's what I expected. I mean, nothing really to say there. So I am kind of surprised to see right on top there is a book that looks like a romance. This is called The Wedding Ringer by Carrie Rhea, and I just say that because I didn't put romance in my, preferred genres, but that's okay. I do like to read a kind of lighthearted romance every once in a while, so I'll definitely still read this. So this says, once upon a time, Willa Callister was a successful blogger with a good credit score, actual hobbies, and legs that she shaved more than once a month. But after finding her fiance in bed with her best friend, she now spends her days performing at children's birthday parties in a ball gown that makes her look like a walking bottle of Pepto-Bismol. Willa dreams of starting fresh where no one knows who she used to be, but first she needs to save up enough money to make it happen. Maisie Mitchell needs something too, another bridesmaid for her wedding. So it sounds like Maisie is going to ask Willa to be her bridesmaid, and I'm assuming, Willa's gonna meet somebody at the wedding. So this sounds pretty decent. I'm not sure that I would have bought this at a store, but I probably would have picked it up at a thrift store or something like that. I do really like the cover here, and since I am not a big romance girly, definitely let me know if you've read this, if you know of anything else by this author, Carrie Rhea. I think that the back said that this is her debut novel, but I'm not sure when this was published. So just last year. So I'm guessing this is the only one she's got out right now. But I'll add it to the list, and I'm actually going to do a video very soon where I read 7 romances in the week leading up to Valentine's Day, and I don't think I have 7 on my shelf yet, so maybe I'll add that to the list. Okay, up next looks like we have a thriller, so love that. This is called The Starter Wife. It says, he promised till death do us part, then she disappeared. This says author of Girl Last Seen. I have not read that. And I don't believe I've heard of this author, Nina Lauren, but there is another cover in here that says What My Sister Knew, and I haven't read that one, but I have definitely heard of it. This one says, local police have announced that they're closing the investigation of the suspected drowning of 37-year-old painter Colleen Westcott. She disappeared on April 11, 2010, and her car was found parked near the waterfront in Cleveland 2 days later. That's kind of cool because I'm a Columbus girl. I've been to Cleveland a strong handful of times, so I'll be able to picture the setting a little bit. And then there's an excerpt from the book. So this sounds pretty good. I am definitely really loving thrillers lately, so I am excited to dive into this one. Okay, this should be interesting. Another thriller here. This is Darkly Dreaming Dexter, a novel by Jeff Lindsay. And I don't think I knew that this was actually a book. I've seen, maybe 2 or 3 episodes of the first season. Not really like the kind of shows that I like to watch. I find that I like to read thrillers a lot more than I like to watch them, just because watching them can kind of be a bit more frightening to me just with all the sound and everything. But this back actually says that it's a dark comedy with a creative twist. And then another one says daring and unexpectedly comedic. So I'm actually pretty excited for this. I do like when thrillers have a little bit of something different about them. And if this book is slightly different than the average thriller because it has like a dark comedy vibe to it, I'm all here for it. It's actually not very big at all. So I'm not sure if this is part of the series or if this really is the only book about Dexter. Okay, so it looks like there is another one. So that is kind of a bummer if this is not the first one in the Dexter universe. I don't know if I'm gonna need to read that first, so I'll have to look a little bit more into it. But even still, I am pretty excited to have this book. Okay, now we've got some hardbacks, so that's good. I feel like I'm getting a little bit more for my money. This one is called An Unrestored Woman by Shobha Rao. I probably absolutely butchered the name of that author, but that's a pretty unique cover there. So this looks like it's more historical fiction. It's set in 1947. It says the Indian subcontinent is partitioned into 2 separate countries, India and Pakistan, and with one decree, countless lives are changed forever. So this book explores the fault lines in this mass displacement of humanity. A new mother is trapped on the wrong side of the border. A soldier finds the love of his life, but is powerless to act on his feelings. An ambitious servant seduces both master and mistress. A young prostitute quietly plots revenge on the madam who holds her hostage. And caught in a world of shifting borders, the characters have reached their tipping points. So it sounds pretty depressing, honestly, but unfortunately a lot of historical fiction is in some way, shape, or form. But I have never read anything in this environment, so I am pretty excited to check this out. And this is why I do like the idea of mystery boxes, because this is probably something that I would not have picked up for myself, but I am interested in reading. Okay, sorry if the angle's slightly off. I had to change the battery already. Here's another romance-looking book. This is called Very Sincerely Yours by Carrie Winfrey, who's the author of Waiting for Tom Hanks. And I have not read that one, but I have heard good things about that book. Another very adorable cover here. It says, Teddy Phillips never thought she would still be spending every day surrounded by toys at almost 30 years old, but working at a vintage toy store, which just sounds so cute, is pretty much all she has going on in her life after being dumped by her longtime boyfriend. The one joy that she has kept is her not-so-guilty pleasure, Everett's Place, a local children's show hosted by Everett St. James, a man whom Teddy finds very soothing and okay, cute. She has the courage to write to him, feeling slightly like one of the children who write to him on the show. He always gives good advice and seems like he has everything figured out. And then it says Everett is drawn to her honesty and vulnerability as she is writing to him, and they continue to write to each other. So this does sound like a very heartwarming romance. I love the whole idea of them writing letters back and forth to each other, and just the whole setting of like the children's show and her working in the toy shop. Very, very cute, so I'll definitely pick this one up soon. Here we have The Little Drummer Girl, which it says it's an AMC miniseries, but this is a pretty thick one, which I do enjoy. I think that it's a thriller. So yes, this was made into a 3-part miniseries on AMC, and I do actually plan on doing a video in the future where I read books that were made into movies or TV shows like this, but the catch is that I must have never read the movie and never watched the film adaptation, and so I'll read the book and then watch the film adaptation right afterwards and see which one I prefer. So I'll probably do that with like 3 or 4 books, and this sounds like it would be a great one for that video. And this says, on holiday in Mykonos, Charlie wants only sunny days and a brief escape from England's dreariness. Then a handsome stranger lures the aspiring actress away from her pals, but his intentions are far from romantic. He is an Israeli intelligence officer, and Charlie has been wooed to flush out the leader of a Palestinian terrorist group responsible for a string of deadly bombings. Still uncertain of her own allegiances, she debuts in the role of a lifetime as a double agent in the theater of the real. So honestly, this to me sounds like it could be either really, really good or kind of dry. There's probably not going to be a lot of in between. there for me, but just because it was made into a miniseries, I'm hoping that this will be really good. All right, I've got 2 more, which makes this 8 total, and I'm pretty happy with that amount of books. Here's another one that was made into a Netflix film, and I have not read this book or watched the film yet. This is called The Devil All the Time by Donald Ray Pollock. I have heard of this. I think I've just seen it as I have scrolled on Netflix, but honestly have no idea what it's about. All right, another one set in Ohio. Love that. This says, in the backwoods of Ohio, Willard Russell's wife is at death's door no matter how much he drinks, prays, or sacrifices animals at his prayer log. Meanwhile, his son Arvin is growing up from a kid bullied at school into a man who knows when to take action. Around them swirl a nefarious cast of characters, a demented team of serial killers, a spider-eating preacher, and a corrupt local sheriff, all braided into a riveting narrative of the grittiest American grain. That actually sounds really good. I will probably also hold off on reading this until I make the video that I was talking about earlier, but I feel like this is gonna be really good. Okay, and last but not least, we have a hardback. This is Harlan Coben's Win, and I think this might actually be his newest book. So this one might be like technically the best deal of the bunch. Yeah, this was just written in 2021, so maybe not his newest, but very new, and I have not read this one yet. I'm not like the world's biggest Harlan Coben fan, but I have read a few books and I have enjoyed them. They're ones that I'm, pretty happy to give back to Goodwill whenever I'm done with them, or just like give to someone else to read. So hoping that this is a good one. He's one that I found that I actually do prefer the miniseries that are made out of his books more than the books themselves. So if you're not familiar and you have a Netflix account, I would highly recommend just typing in Harlan Coben into Netflix, and I think he has like 7 different miniseries on there. He must have some deal with them, but those are really good. I do like them a bit better than his books, but I do think that he is a very good author, and I will for sure read this one. So those were all the books. I am pretty happy with that. I was hoping for, a few more historical fiction rather than some of the romance, but all in all, I will read all of these, and I was really afraid that it was going to be like the last mystery box, and I just wasn't going to be interested in basically any of them. But I think I'll do this mystery box again in the future, and I think that this could be a cool giveaway to give to you guys, maybe once I get to 1,000 subscribers. Or maybe I'll just make mystery boxes of my own and send them out. But I did just notice that along with the 8 books that I got, they did also send a tote bag, so that's very cute. So it just says the Book Loft of German Village, Columbus, Ohio, 32 rooms, bargain books. So I love that. I'm sure that these are not uber cheap on their own, so that was really nice of them to include that. But all right, guys, let me know what you think of this box. Do you think this was worth almost $90 with the tax and shipping? Like I said, I think it's just a really fun thing to do. I'm sure I would have been able to find all these books in some way, shape, or form for less than that, but there's just something about getting a mystery box delivered right to your front door. And do let me know too if you've read any of these books, if you think I should read any right away. Oh, I gotta sneeze. But yeah, honestly, those romances will probably be read first out of all of these, just because I am doing that reading 7 romances in 7 days video. But if you like this video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.